Hello, juniors. It's your counselors here to chat with you a little bit about some of the questions that have been pressing. I know a lot of us have been getting emails and inquiries about the college process because this is the time this spring when we often encourage you to really start thinking about schools and getting on college campuses. But with the change of what's happening, there's a lot of unanswered questions right now. So we have brought to you our special guest, Angie Castingay from NEAF, the New Hampshire Education Assistance Foundation, to share with her some of her expertise so that hopefully some of your questions can be answered today. So hopefully it will relieve a little bit of stress and anxiety that you might be feeling about this process, and to give you some sort of a kind of a to-do list of what you can be doing while you are home, because the process should be taking a standstill. So we want to help you figure out what those steps can be. So Angie, since this is, like I said, the time when a lot of students are beginning their college search process, what tips can you give to suggest to them to get started?
Well, getting started doesn't necessarily jump you right onto the college campus. There's actually some things that you want to do before that. So there's definitely some things that juniors can be doing right now, even when they can't get onto college campuses. What I would say is, first to start, is that before you start looking at the schools, you want to take a second to get to think about yourself and what you want out of your college education. Whether it be what major, do you want internships, do you want a certain location, is there a certain size of campus that you feel comfortable at? So knowing yourself through this process is actually the first step, and oftentimes it's the one that people spend the least amount of time on, unfortunately, and that could lead to options down the road that you're not happy with. So taking this time now is perfect. So things they can do is do a career inventory. There are free ones. I'm going to give you guys a resource that you guys can post for them following this interview, and I think you might have some as well. But taking a career inventory, what majors do people with your interests and skill sets, tend to lean towards, things like that. Exploring careers on those kind of interest inventories. Career interviews are really awesome. If there is a career that you want, pick a company that you would love to work for. So if you're in the gaming, world, is there a company you would love to work for? Call up their human resources and say, is there somebody who's willing to talk to me about, when they hire, what do you look for in a candidate? What kind of degree do you want them to have? What kind of experience do you want them to have? Follow that up with a thank you card or a thank you email. But taking that time to kind of learn a little bit about that is awesome stuff that you can be doing right now. You also have great college search engines out there. So a great free one is bigfuture.com, and that is through College Board. You can research the colleges, look at the different majors, all of that kind of stuff. And then the last thing I would say is there's a certain group of kids who might be better off working backwards. So we have kids who say, I want to go to medical school, I want to go to law school, I want to go to veterinary school. Oftentimes we make assumptions about what those schools want in a candidate. I have to go to Johns Hopkins undergrad because I want to go to Johns Hopkins Medical School. If you work backwards and actually call Johns Hopkins Medical, their top three schools that they recruit from for their medical is University of Delaware, University of Maryland, and University of Virginia. So what we think we know about what they want may be wrong. So work backwards. Call the medical schools, call the veterinary schools, find out what they want in a candidate, and that might get you some more accurate information. So those are all just tips and things that you can be doing right now.
Angie, a lot of colleges have canceled what they're doing this spring. Excuse me. They are not allowing people on campus for tours. And so how do you get to know a campus if you can't actually go there, just to kind of get a feel for if you want to add it to your list or not?
So we have been getting contacted, as I'm sure you guys have too, by, counselors that know us and admission reps that know us in the field. They are home. They cannot travel. They're stuck on their campuses or working from remotely. They want to meet with kids and want to talk with them. So first off, if you can pick any college in the country, find their admissions reps. It's usually right on their website, who meet our counselors, and you can find their email. Email them, ask them questions. They want to talk to students and build those relationships. Like, they're dying for that. So that is 100% a possibility. The other thing you can do is, when you reach out with them, ask about saying, can I meet up with a professor? there are probably professors who are absolutely willing to Zoom a conversation with you and let you interview them about their coursework. So if you're looking specifically at doing forensic pathology or, you know, certain engineering program, I bet you a college can hook you up with one of their professors to do a Zoom meeting or even Zoom into one of their classes. There's probably a lot more technology being utilized than we think about. So you can absolutely do that kind of stuff. I don't know of a campus today that doesn't have some kind of virtual tour going on their website. So any kind of virtual tours would be excellent. Let's see, what else could you do? Oh, we have rescheduled our Destination College event. I know you guys are really good at advertising it typically for us, and we appreciate it, but it's a free event that we run every spring. We had to cancel it or postpone it. It was supposed to be last weekend. We have postponed it, and I'm gonna cheat and look down here, to Saturday, June 27th, and it is gonna be hosted at St. Anselm's College. At that event, we have some workshops, but more importantly, we have over 60 colleges who have committed to coming to that date, even our postponed date. And registration is going to open sometime mid-April, and it's at destinationcollege.org. So even if the student had previously registered for our event in March, you do need to re-register for June. But at that event, we're going to have 60 colleges, and it's a college fair, so that might get some students some exposure to colleges that they couldn't actually go visit during April break. And then the last thing to say is that I know that a lot of students and families have been probably scouring social media and seeing some things on, you know, reviews and things like that on colleges. The only thing that I caution families to know is that, you know, you can make fake reviews. We have tried that at times just to see if that was allowable, and it was. So please know that, you know, people control a campus, make up personalities, make reviews to hurt a campus that they're not happy with, that can skew things. Be cautious of the social media reviews. I would rather see you go directly to an admissions rep. They'll put you in touch with a student, they'll put you in touch with a professor, because social media can be skewed. That's the only other thing I would say.
So Angie, many of our juniors were relying on the school day SAT we were going to offer in April as either practice or for some students their one shot at taking the SAT. We've received a lot of questions and emails about what colleges will do in the wake of that SAT being canceled. Yep. And will colleges want students to still take the SAT? And if they will want them to, what do you recommend is the best time for them to take them?
Okay, so first let's kind of talk about the SATs in general, you know, kind of back it up a little bit to say that on trend has been more schools in the country going SAT optional before this ever happened. And there are well over 1,000, and there's about 4,000 colleges in the country. So about a quarter of our colleges, and I'm talking 4-year, not just 2-year. Okay, have gone SAT optional. So that has already been a trend on point that not every college requires them. And they're at all tier points too. Ivy Light, you know, state schools, public schools, all different kinds of colleges. So first I want to put kids to a list to read to see who is test optional already. And they can go to fairtest.org to see a full list of all the schools that were already test optional. So they weren't worried about it. For the schools that have been more SAT reliant, what we're seeing is a couple things. One is that they, some of them are opting to say for this particular class, for this junior class, we are going to waive SAT scores. That is going to be information you're going to find, unfortunately, at each individual school's website. So you will have to hunt and peck a little bit. There's not going to be probably one universal list for that. But that's what some schools are doing. The other thing is there are schools who just by nature are going to still be SAT reliant. The free SAT testing, you know, that was postponed was one option. There are still many other options to take SATs come August through November. And you can take it in August and November. You can take it in October and November. So you do have a chance to take it more than once if that's, you know, something that a student needs. And the other kind of good thing is you now have a long time to be at home and go on Khan Academy and study, because I would think the bigger myth is that you can't study for the SATs. Well, that is true. Generationally, the 5 of us couldn't study for the SATs. Now they've, redesigned the test. It is actually something that you can study for. And the best resource is the free resources that are available on Khan Academy. So I would say if you still plan on taking it, take this opportunity to study. And if you put the time in, one time could be enough. Oftentimes kids take it twice, and I'm going to be real, and I think you guys are real too. The first one they don't really study for. So it's a practice. And then they maybe study for the second one. Well, assume your practice is sort of gone, study and put it into the one that you will get to take. And the other thing is too, if you kind of were going to approach it like that, I know many students have said to me, I just want to see how I do first, and then I'll figure out if I need to study. Well, guess what? There's free tests on Khan Academy, full SAT tests that you can take. You can time them, you can do all of that. So you absolutely still have the opportunity to study and do a practice test before you ever take the real test. But I would say that nationally, the colleges are very well aware of what's going on and are going to adapt. Their goal is to admit kids. It is not to keep them out. So they're going to work with counselors. They're going to work with school districts. They're going to work with whatever they need to make sure that they can get this group of juniors into college in a year.
So you've mentioned a couple of things that juniors can be doing right now at home, which include exploring career inventories, virtually touring schools, working on an SAT prep. And we know that, and typically senior year can be very busy and time goes by very quickly. So I'm wondering, in terms of this spring with some time at home over the summer, are there other things that you would recommend that juniors can kind of get a head start on now that will take some of these additional pressures off in the fall?
Yeah, we always recommend getting a head start, because I think senior year just comes really, quickly, and there's a lot going on and it's fun and they want to take the time to do that. So you can absolutely start some of your college applications now. If any of your colleges that you're interested in use the Common App, and you can go to Common App's website and actually see who uses it, you can start filling out the Common App. What's going to happen is in the middle of the summer, Common App shuts down for 2 weeks. And during that 2 weeks in July, they purge all of the current seniors. Your students are going to put in their graduation date. It'll be known that they're a junior and not a senior. All of the current seniors get purged. And when your students log back in August, there'll be a button that says, do you want to put in to the new application the stuff that you previously started? They're going to say yes. It goes right over, and everything that they did this spring will pre-populate into the fall application, and they'll be ready to go. And a lot of it, and you guys know this, is demographics. It's where do your parents work? When are your parents' birthdays? What courses have you taken? Stuff that does not require, anything that's specific to knowing the information in September would be different than now. This is information you have now. You can easily start filling it out. You save it. It saves as you go, and you can't accidentally submit this because you got to put in a credit card to get it set. So it's not like you're going to start it and accidentally submit it. Your parents can still look at it. Your school counselors can still look at it. Everybody can still, see it and make sure it looks good before you send it. The other thing that I highly recommend getting a head start on is your college essay. And we have been told that the college essay questions are going to stay the same, so that Common App questions that are posted on Common App right now are going to be the questions that are for next year's application as well. And again, that is something that you can start drafting out, talk about it with, family and friends. What ideas do they have about what you should write about? And any kind of work you do on that is just work that you don't have to do come, senior year.
Fabulous. Thank you. And then in this uniquely stressful time, do you have any words of advice to offer our juniors about the college search process?
Yeah, so I kind of say this to juniors as well as the current seniors, is that I think that sometimes we put a lot of emotional pressure on, 17, 18, 19-year-olds to try to figure out this perfect school, and they think they have to marry this, school for 4 years, and they have to make this great decision, and it's only one school's right. reality is with over 4,000 colleges in the country, there's more than one school out there for everybody. And that to remember to trust yourself. You're going to be you at any college you go to. So in the end, I always tell students, I had 3 colleges that it came down to for me, and they were all different. A large state school, a New York City school, and a rural Pennsylvania Christian college. Totally different, but I liked all 3 of them. And the reality was, I look back and, you know, we have the benefit of hindsight, but I look back and I think I probably would have been happy at any of those because I would have been me at every one of those colleges. I would have sought out clubs and people and interests that I had at every one of those schools and would have found my niche. And I think kids don't give themselves enough credit that they're going to be themselves at every campus they go to, and they're going to find those like if you are environmentally passionate, you're going to go for those clubs at any school that you go to. I was politically active. I would have found those kind of activities at any campus that I was on. And so to maybe take a breather and remember that there isn't just one perfect school out there. You're you, and you're going to make it and make every school that you go to awesome for yourself. And I think that they really expect that college to be perfect for them. That's not going to happen. And, you know, to kind of give themselves a little bit of a breather, because it's just, there's no reason to make it as stressful as it is.
Excellent. And for the juniors and families that are out there listening, a few things I just want to remind you is that mostly all of you have been registered on our new platform SCORE. So Angie, we are moving away from Naviance, and we are rolling out SCORE for this class. So there's a college search option in there. So definitely feel free to start kind of plugging away and exploring that platform. We will be getting information out about the career inventory that Angie mentioned and other resources in terms of you accessing that. And then we do offer a boot camp in the summer for rising seniors to help go over the Common App, the essay writing, and really give you a jump start before your senior year starts. So definitely keep looking for those resources. And over the next week, our department will be posting much of these resources to the Schoology page with similar videos like this, kind of walking you through that process. So that is to come. And then finally, last question, Angie, how can NEAF and the Center of College Planning help students now as they begin this process?
So we are still working. We're not in our offices in Concord right now. We are working remotely. However, we are still available for questions and anybody who wants to call us or email us. And I'll give you that number in a second, but they can call for that. We are still going to be meeting with juniors. We do one-on-one college counseling appointments. They will be starting after May 1st or May 6th, I believe is now the date. As far as we know in our office, if that can't happen at that point, we will move to virtual, not a problem. So we will still be able to do one-on-one college counseling appointments. And then throughout the entire summer, we do those appointments, we do boot camps, all different kinds of stuff. So we are a 12-month organization, so we're around all summer for whatever they need for help. And to reach us, they can call 888-747-2382, and you would dial extension 119. And 119, anybody who answers it is a college counselor. If you want to talk to me, they can transfer you to me directly, or you can email us at collegeplanning@neaf.org. So feel free to connect with us at any point. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Angie.
You're very welcome.
Thank you,
Good luck,
Angie.
juniors. You're in great hands, juniors. You're your school counselors.